Hello, welcome everybody. I feel like I need to start singing or tune into the music or something because I was just listening to it and then all of a sudden it wasn't there. So, welcome to Michelle's Inspiration Hour. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I hope that this episode inspires you. And if you have a question, if you are actually on Facebook or YouTube, you can ask our guest a question at any time, and I will post it onto the screen. All right, so I want you to think about art. Art has always been a part of my life. Both my grandparents were artists. My grandmother owned an art studio. And I would love to stay there and I would watch artists come in and get their supplies. I'm thinking, wonder what they are creating. Even as an educator, I'd love to use art activities into the lessons because the kids really enjoyed it. It really brought out their creativity, even if it was math. It made math so much more fun to learn. And if you look at art, it is all math. So there you go. It goes hand in hand. So, my next guest is an artist that is making a difference in how we view art as a society. Now, here's some wise words that Michaell stated during a past interview. And he said, creating art always reminds and teaches us of a life as human beings. It makes us aware of human and nature wonders for us and future generations. Now, Michaell is a multimedia artist. He is creative and awareness educator, author of 5 books, podcaster, speaker, coach, and former Newport Beach CA Arts Commissioner. All right, now I am so excited to bring up an artist. I don't think I've had an artist on the show yet. Well, okay, let's not say that. Okay, art is so different. You can create your own business that is art. So I have, but I'm really excited to see the inspiration that our guest has behind it. All right, Michaell, let's see ya.
Hi,
Hi.
Michelle. Thank you for having me,
Oh,
giving me a canvas to paint. You know,
I love that. I am so excited to have you on.
hmm
And I'm just so excited to hear about your inspiration
hmm
behind your art. So kind of, and I know that, this may begin when you're a child. And so tell us your story because everybody has a story of how they get inspired. So what is yours?
it was not so much an inspiration how I found art. It was a survival tool because, as you did a beautiful job with the opening, I was a sick child, and when I hit the school with 7, I I found I couldn't regurgitate. I was stuttering like I just did, and it was just the hardest thing. I could not. I was good with humans, and I guess that was the sickness that you had to relate to humans because
Right.
and I couldn't play outside and all kinds of stuff. So when I found out I had to repeat classes, and I am a personality. I try to fit in, I try to be part of it, and I just couldn't. It was impossible through the thing. I was not a victim or anything. I enjoyed life, but I couldn't do it. So I repeated 3 classes, and I basically have zero education. I'm completely self-taught. Everything I wrote, the books, everything, that was my education, writing the books.
Hmm.
And so there's not only one. You don't have to go to Harvard. You can also do other things and other ways to get things. And then it was for me a day to day, as for us all when we were adolescents, right? We want to belong, whether it be to this group, to that group. And I always, and I wasn't conscious then because it was day by day, and I always figured out, I was always excited by movies, by paintings, museums. I was always like you. I was very
Hmm.
connected with that because it made me feel, I would say, balanced. It wouldn't make me feel great or anything. I was just like balanced. And when I was 30, I found out when I wrote my resume on, for the jobs, I said, "Oh God damn, I am an artist. I don't need. I wanted to be an artist, earlier, but when I was 30, I did the resume, and it just clicked in me. I was DJ. I did mixtapes out of my trunk. I was arts commission. That too, but not then. I was I was fashion show producer. I was in advertising, and I saw all this creativity. And I said, I'm an artist. Not only did it make me survive, because by then I knew how important it was, but I am an artist. I don't need to have society or a system tell me I'm an artist or not. I am, because not only did it make me survive the creation of art, but it made me flourish. It made me and give me insights that I could have. And the art community is a very, at that time, it's not anymore so much, but at that time, there was no gender difference. There was no race difference. There was no sexual difference. Everybody, when you have a theater play, you have two leads. Let's say you have two CEOs, you have CFO and CFO, right? CEO and CFO, right? But then it's not like that, because if any part of that play doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
It's like if everybody at Apple doesn't know what it is right, the whole company goes under. That's what art is. It brings the best out in us, in all of us, and we have, if we want or not, have to work together. And everybody wants to, because we have the joy. And so that's the closest to, I found, like nature, because everybody in nature, you exist, and the fact that you have worth is because you exist, right? The ant,
Oh, absolutely.
The ant and the elephant are not different, right? They're both, you're bigger in the nature than me, but it doesn't matter, because it's all about balance. It's all about balance,
Absolutely. And I love your story, because you didn't let having dyslexia stop you, or dysgraphia. So, to me, that is such an inspiration that you found something that kept you going, even though it wasn't outside the norm, because a lot of our society, are so educational based, but you proved them wrong. You were able to do so much more with your talents. And it's almost like you were guided, like you knew which direction to go with that.
And Michelle, I would say there's a lot of dyslexics that don't get as old as me, because they're not ADHD. Neurodiversity is because it's so hard to fit into systems. And this part of my new book I'm going to write. I'm finishing up, and it's what's given. It's God given, or whatever given, that I have that spirit, because other people, went into drugs. There's a lot of stuff. So I cannot take responsibility for that spirit. I can take responsibility that I was listening, but not
Absolutely.
right. That I was for that spirit. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't listen, and you're right. I mean, I meet so many, intelligent people with very high IQs. And when I talk about IQ, I'm talking about, academic IQ. And then it comes so easy sometimes that they just they don't do anything.
No.
It's like, but that's, I know that's their spiritual journey, whatever journey that they are on, they're learning themselves. So it just seems like you just said yes to that guidance and to spirituality, and it made you want,
And I have no intuition or whatever. I'm just very aware, and through what dyslexia is a superpower, as you know, that there's a system that just doesn't acknowledge. Right? I mean, they start now on LinkedIn. There's dyslexic thinking. There's keywords, but it's not so. It's and it's about 40 years ago. It was nobody. The diagnosis was, you're dyslexic, right? But you still have to make your homework, and you still have to pass the tests, and you still have to. What kind of system solution is that? In a human way, right? It's not a solution. And if you don't fit into the median of systems, and you're out of the bell curve, you're not worthy. You're not system valuable.
Yeah.
See, and that's why I do this right now. This book is about system relevance versus human relevance. And I don't know. I think once people are aware of that, and we become aware of that,
Mhm.
of our, system relevance versus human relevance, I think your life gets 70% easier, because I think we are so conditioned from ancestry, generations of, you get born in a hospital system, you get baptized system, you get in a school system, you get in the university system, you get married system. It's just, we experience our humanity not in nature, which we are part of, right?
Mhm.
We are species like the dinosaurs, and they extinct themselves. We can extinct them ourselves. We did it 6 times.
Mhm.
Mayans or whatever. Look what nature does. It just grows over. So,
Right. Absolutely.
so we have to learn or wake up. And I think this is what's going on now, to human relevance, and that humans are the gods of systems. So we can change them, but we are not the
Mhm.
gods of us.
Right.
We are not
Right.
gods of nature. And
Yeah.
I think that's the big misunderstanding, that conditioning, it should be sunny every day. And if it's not, Michelle, we sell you a Ferrari, a pill, or a face job, right? And then,
Right.
I always say that. I say the same example all the time, because it's such a great metaphor. If we buy all this stuff, we buy the Ferrari, the pill, and the face job, and then they come to, which is short time fulfillment, and
Right.
then we go and then say, so how are you guys doing? And I said, nah, we're doing good, but we kind of slipping right back where we were. And
Yes.
it's not
Yes.
fulfillment. It's not in human aspect, it's a fulfillment. In system aspect, it's success, reaching a goal,
Mhm.
reaching this. And then you reach it, and it drops down. That's why you have all this depression after Olympic wins,
Yeah.
or, if you get the system accolades.
Right. And that's one reason why I am so glad that you wrote your book, The Smart of Art.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it, because not only do you talk about the problems that artists have in
Hmm.
society, just being an artist and that's all they do, like the starving
Yeah.
artist, but you talk about how to create your pieces, art pieces, where you should hang them, how you should hang them.
Hmm.
So it's got a lot of technical things for art. And
Hmm.
then at the very end, you talk about how society is kind of changing and how artists are changing.
Hmm.
So, what was your inspiration behind this book? What were you wanting people to pick up this book and learn?
It was the fact that it saved my life. Like I said, it always guided me through life without education. It taught me a lot of wisdom. And then the fact that 97% of worldwide artists are on the poverty level.
Mhm.
They exist on a poverty level. So
Right.
what you hear, like in every system, you hear the top people, the 1%, the 0.5%, and everybody feels guilty because they are not Elon Musk, they're not Jeff Bezos, right?
Right.
So the same is with art. You hear about the people that make $1 million and say, God, the guy has a hobby, quote unquote, right? Because art is considered as a hobby. And he makes $1 million for that statue, for that painting. And how could a Michelangelo sell this and this and this? And it's all branding. It's all brand stuff. It's all
Mhm.
about the art product. And I said, and I found, by writing the book, first I thought, okay, it's just the systems that don't appreciate artists. And then I thought, no. It's the fulfillment that artists get from creating.
Mhm.
And it's a godly feeling. And that's why we have in systems the shiny object syndrome. We create something and we make it bigger than us, a
Right.
country, a
Right.
company, it's bigger than us. Oh, Porsche is bigger than us, or whatever.
Mhm.
And this is how we lose $200,000 people in the Ukrainian-Russian war. We make a system higher than humans. I mean, there should never be. We are not the gods of systems, of humans,
Mhm.
right?
Right. Right.
So I wrote this book, and I separated the art creation to give a depth of art creation. And if you want to choose your creativity to be an famous art person, or a living person in the system, use your creativity for copying the right things, making the right thing. but it's much less than creating. Creating the true artist is he looks in at a canvas or listens to silence, makes a tone. You look at a canvas and you feel blue or green or red, and you just put them together. And then there comes a point, and see, this is where the God comes in, the godly stuff comes in. You're creating a living being, because all of a sudden that canvas, you cannot put, to keep it harmonious, you cannot put that red dot on that point. Even if you want, I said, I want to put the red dot on the lower right point, and you do it, and it destroys the whole thing. You said, no, the red dot goes, and perhaps red doesn't even go. The picture tells you, first you're the master, you're blank canvas, and then you create so far till it doesn't work anymore. You have to can complete it, and a lot of artists say that they did too much and then they destroyed it because they want to pack more in.
Right.
And to have that feeling, that interconnection that you have while you're painting, you're talking to your unconscious self. You have a conversation, and the product is the painting. The painting, the music, the poem is the result of the conversation that you have with your unconscious. And you go back and forth. What should I do? But even with your podcast, you said, I need to make a podcast, right?
Right.
And then I said, okay, how am I doing that podcast? How should it look? So you have a conversation. And this is the podcast that you had in the conversation with your unconscious.
Right. Oh, I love that. And I absolutely love, shall we see some of your art pieces?
So if you
To see
can,
how you did with your subconscious?
Yeah, my conversation, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And I absolutely love your art because a lot of it is with color, and it just, it speaks. And if you knew my everyday self, you know that I absolutely love color. And what I'm showing is all of your pieces. This is actually on your website that I'm showing everybody. So if you're just listening to this, you can look at his art pieces on his website. And I am trying to get to his favorite one so that he can explain it. Make sure I don't pass it, Michael.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Keep going.
But this way, everybody gets to see everything.
There is.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so
it's just it's not my favorite, but it's a favorite story that because where I can explain the process to your listeners.
Absolutely.
I read a book about hugs, and I found in the hug that, for example, and I really like that book because it was the hug is a handshake. The handshake is a more conservative hug, right? Because you're intertwining the hands. And I said, how can I make, and this book was the inspiration. And I said, how can I make this in my style with my voice, make this a painting? And then I thought, okay, a hug. But as you see, I'm very limited. I'm not a representational artist because of my dysgraphia. I thought I need to do something that is simple. And so how can I make it simple? And then I said, I have to do it from above.
Right.
And then when it's like two people, hugging, if you
I can't get it back on for some reason. It's frozen.
Okay. People can see. They see it halfway there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find. I went to the Google Images and I couldn't find, which was like 10 years ago or 9 years ago. I couldn't find any shots or photos where people hug. All kinds of hugs, people hugging and stuff, but nobody from above. And that's because I wanted to get an inspiration of how that looks, when people hug from above. So that was a kind of funny story, how this discovered. And it's very liked. That painting is very liked, even though you don't know, you think it's just circles or whatever. But once you know the story, and then the people say, oh, now. When people say, oh, I like that painting, I tell them the story. I say, oh my God, now I know why I like it. It's unconscious. you know it unconsciously, you like it.
Right, right, absolutely. And it's like, and I really like how we can find um, out stories about paintings because it makes it so much more enriched that way. You know, once you see a painting, you make your own story. But then when you see or hear what the artist says about it, it's like, oh, well, that makes total sense.
That's why I'm always for titles. I wrote in this book all about. I'm not for untitled. I think art obviously is in the eye of the beholder, but only in the like. It's not in the understanding of the art piece. Because if I want to communicate to you, I need to use words. I mean, I can do gestures and everything. So, look at me and then think what you think. You
Right.
know. I like his glasses. I like his whatever. That's not how we communicate, because art is basically a communication tool.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute communication tool. If podcast, or if you write something, or if you communicate. If you cook, you communicate your essence to the whole. To
Mhm.
the inclusiveness.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm finding out. I'm smiling because I'm finding that out. I started cooking recently because my husband and I kind of switched roles. He used
Yeah.
to cook, now I'm cooking, and it is like art because you're putting all these ingredients in there, and you
Mm,
don't know how it's going to taste. Taste is
yeah.
the final product,
Exactly.
and sometimes the recipes work, and sometimes they don't. But when they do work, I can see now what people are talking about, that you sometimes you can put 2 things together and you don't know if how it's gonna taste, and it just tastes wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you just described. Look, this is the magic of this podcast.
Yes.
When I said you got to put that red dot there, and you can't. And that is with cooking. It's actually better even with cooking, because you see what you can't put that in.
Yeah.
I want to put garlic in, even if you love garlic. You can't put garlic in. I love red. I want to put that red dot there. You can't put red there. You
Right.
can't put the garlic in, right? And
Right.
that's when you see our creation. This is our first superpower. We create everything. Look at our world. We have everything is created.
Right.
So why is the highest form? See, this was the question of their book. What's
Mhm.
the highest form of creation that is really has no purpose? You just create whatever comes in. You write the poem, you play the music, whatever comes in. And that, when people see art as the physical product of a conversation with human, and
Mhm.
it's on, it makes so much more sense. That's why I say, when you read my book or you listen to my 20 seconds podcast,
Oh,
which is just
yes.
it's just one quote, which I would actually recommend everybody listen to the podcast first, because you just look at one episode a
What's the name
day.
of your podcast?
The Smart of Art, the same
Okay.
thing. There's
Okay.
the power and the power of art and creativity.
Oh, there
The
you go.
smart
I
of
got it written down.
yeah. That's the smart of art. And what it is I would start like this. If you like this conversation that you and I have, just every day or every second day or every third day, look at one quote and just read it, or listen to it, read it, and there's a question, and
Mhm.
answer for yourself the question. This brings you an awareness of how powerful you are, and with your creation that you totally ignore because it's not system relevant, right?
Right.
Your cooking is like nothing because you're not a Michelin star, a queen
Right.
or whatever. And we can't always, like this conversation, you know, would you have more listeners with Elon Musk on? Yes. But does he have to say something? I think every human being has so much to say,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
especially second superpower,
Mhm.
conversation. You milk the moment. You milk this conversation, and you see the magic that is happening. It doesn't mean you need to have a superstar on your podcast. You need
Oh,
to have,
no. No.
it's just it's in the process. If it has a lot of thing, it would be nice if a lot of people listen to it or like it, but it's not the. This is not the fulfilling part of it. The fulfilling
Right.
part is the creation.
And
And
that's exactly right.
and if you want to be human relevant successful, which is fulfillment, which is the feeling of it after an orgasm, right? Is that fulfillment? And look how metaphorically sex is.
Right.
It's the union, the inclusivity after that act. You get the feeling of fulfillment, and that everybody in the world chases. And that's what the system sells with the Ferrari. It gives you just a jolt of fulfillment. Yeah.
Right.
A face job, just a jolt. A pill you eat, just a jolt,
Right.
So, but it's not a long time enrichment. And the fulfillment you get with creating is forever.
Yeah.
It's forever.
Absolutely.
It's forever.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, wise words. That is just beautiful. You have definitely inspired me the way that you the words that come out, you said that you stumble sometimes, but very poetic, Michaell. Very poetic. Absolutely love it. Are you
Thank
ready
you.
for your last question?
Oh, bring it on.
Okay.
The more the merrier.
Okay. All right. So let me get it on. I took off the tab since it was freezing. I don't know if it was my internet or what it was, but everybody at least got to see a small part of it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to spin it. I know it's hard to see right now, but once I spin it and it chooses it, we'll be able to see it.
So funny that you did that, and very colorful.
Oh my gosh.
Very colorful.
Okay. All right. So I know that you have, let's put it this way, because you have written a book. We know that. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to put it, I know that you're writing about art that is a part of yourself. It's a part of your soul. But if somebody came in and said, I want you to write a fictional story, not a nonfiction, but a fictional story, what would it be about? And what kind of theme would people learn about? How would people go, you know what? That's a fantastic book. I learned so much about
nature.
Oh, okay.
Nature and nature and human as a species of nature.
Oh, I would love that. So it would take on symbolic forms, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that you because I'm all about aligning to human relevance, not to this is my seeding that I do.
Yeah.
It's human relevant. It is not system relevant.
Okay.
And I would do a book if it was fiction. I would probably write about me, because that's all I can. I know best.
Right.
I would write about a little girl that cannot understand.
Right.
And then she always goes to animals. I mean, this is it's just so easy. It just comes in that she would she hang out with animals. She can't go to school, and then animals. She gets old, and what people do. I mean, there's so much. It's endless. It just opens up a Pandora's box.
I know, and whenever you talk to an artist and you say create a fictional book, and I mean, say your wheels were turning. You're going, well, I could include this. I could include that.
Yeah, no, it just goes open. It opens up.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Say maybe that's what you need to do next. Is maybe a fictional story. Hey, to even help children these days, bypass whatever they're having struggles with. And finding something that keeps them going and actually shows their true essence.
Yeah, but that's why that's what you and I do. It's like the awareness. It's not about you're only good if you go to Harvard, or you do this, or you get the job, and you get the woman, and you get all that stuff. There's a reason why you're here, and it's for you to uncover it. I think that's what life is. It's like it's you like I unveiled what art creation is. This is what I do always. I unveil, because dyslexia makes me see context.
Right.
So I unveil things, but it's not mine. It's not like, oh, I did it. Nobody could be like that. No. It's it's a part of the whole of, and that's how I can interconnect with the whole, and then that's why then experience power, and that fulfills me. That experience, a power higher than me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think
Yeah,
that is beautiful. Well, Michaell, thank you so much for
you're
sharing
welcome.
your time, your knowledge, your beautiful, wise words. And I cannot wait to see, because I know you're not going to stop writing because
No,
that
no,
is a
no.
part of you. So I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to get down to 10 books or so. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and put you backstage while I say goodbye to everybody. Will you
Mhm.
stick around just for a few
Yes.
minutes? All right. I'll be right back. All right. So you have heard it from Michaell. What an inspiration that he, conquered his own world, found his soul, how to express, and he always shows his true, unique self. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pick out his book. He's got a lot of quotes in his book that he actually imp- uh, um, really wanted to share. So what I'm going to do is like any other book, I'm going to find a place where there's a quote that he said, and then I'm going to share it. Ah, here we go. Okay. So art is a beautiful creation that sprouts and blossoms through the artist, reflecting the source within. The sole purpose of expressing the arts is enhancing the quality of human existence, by Michaell. All right. So I hope that you were inspired, and I will see you soon. And just any type of art. And we're not talking about you that you have to have, paint or anything else. Just create something that shows the world who you truly are. All right. Thank you so much, and many blessings.